So welcome back guys to another video, and I thought for this video I'd do a little discussion with you guys, and the title's kind of harsh to, are gamers the problem? But let me explain this a little bit. I got this idea because it's something I've wanted to talk about, and I have talked about on various forum pages. I've talked about it on my podcast, I've talked about it on my Facebook, and that is, are we the problem? Are we the reason why some of the things that we don't like have become such a normal way of being a consumer? Case in point, games like the new DSX. The new DSX has a pre-order that Square Enix is doing where it's kind of almost like a Kickstarter tier, where you put as much money as you want towards that DLC to unlock certain things that you want in the pre-order, which sounds good on paper, but then you have to also let other people know, because the more it gets funded, the more tiers are opened, which is very experimental. I think I'm not a big fan of it, but I can see why they're doing it. And because a lot of times, gamers, we are the most, opinionated, we are the most passionate consumers that you can meet, but we are also the most forgetful and the most forgiving as well, because there's so many times I've had people that would say, screw DLC, screw microtransactions, and then, they buy the game the first day and they're like, I got the season pass. And it's kind of like, a couple of weeks ago you were ready to burn the building down. Now you're doing this. So with that being said, I think a lot of gamers forget that we are the consumers, that we actually can mold the industry the way we want it, because the companies are trying to make money out of our pockets. It sounds simple on paper, but it gets a little bit more complicated, because the companies, they do see certain things that we gravitate towards, like Kickstarter, and it makes them want to do things. I think the whole DSX pre-order thing is because of how much money Kickstarters have been making with these spiritual successors, and that could be a whole new video right there. I have nothing against spiritual successors, but the one thing I don't like about them is the fact they are tagged as like indie developers, and I'm sorry, I can't think of a developer being indie in my eyes. And when I think of an indie developer, I think of like Super Meat Boy. I think about a small, hungry team that's trying to make a game to get out there. I'm not thinking of a veteran game developer like, Keiji Mifune or Igarashi. I'm not thinking about them trying to make a game to get it out, because they can. Their name alone has been proven that they can make these games. They're just doing the Kickstarter, so it's more of a cushion for them, so they can put these games out without forking all their money and having a complete loss. It's a smart business plan. It's exactly what it is. For me to say those guys are indie developers would be me saying that Nikki Sixx is an indie rock artist because he has his own record company, when he's, selling stadiums playing with Motley Crue. It just doesn't make sense. But I digress. Are we the problem? Are we the reason why gaming companies are doing the sketchy stuff they do? And I think we are. I think we are. In the long term, in the general scheme of things, we are the problem. But we can change it. If you don't want scalpers, quit buying scalped products. Quit paying $100 to $200 more than retail value. And that goes for retro games, that goes for amiibos, consoles, whatever. If you're tired of HD remasters, quit buying HD remasters. It's a thing because the companies see that they're making money off of last gen products, and they want to make money. If you want to quit seeing DLC, quit buying DLC. I think the more of us have this mindset, and the more of us that are more selective of where we throw our paycheck at, I think we will see the gaming industry definitely change. The way we look at industry now is completely different than we did back in the 90s or back in even the early 2000s, and a lot of that is because of the internet, because we kind of know a little bit more about the industry. We don't know everything, so we don't actually work in the industry, but the average gamer knows just a little bit more that's going behind closed doors than we did years ago, and that could be a good or bad thing. It's all up to you. So what are your thoughts about this, guys? Are gamers the problem? Are we the ones that are making these microtransactions, DLC, scalping, remasters, revamped, all this stuff? Are we the ones that are creating this? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear some comments from you guys in this discussion. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming. Can't get enough of XS Gaming Podcast? Be sure to check out the audio podcast on Podomatic.com, or you can also subscribe to us on iTunes. Also, if you have a YouTube channel or podcast you'd like to share, be sure to check out the XS Gaming Podcast Facebook group page and join our community. All the links are below, and as always, guys, thank you so much for all your support.